How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we've got some really bad news, but potentially also good news. Good news that I think are worthwhile sharing, and as you may notice from the image on the screen, and also for those who are Nintendo fans, you most likely have heard about what's going on. So let's break it down like this. Nintendo America just posted a tweet earlier that features a video where we have Shinja Takahashi, Senior Managing Executive Officer over at Nintendo, who has a development update on Metroid Prime 4 for Nintendo Switch. And it's a link to a video where we get the explanation that Metroid Prime 4 has been in a turmoil in development, and the game is being fully restarted. The full game development is being restarted. They're going to make the game from scratch, and they're giving it over to Retro Studios. Now, as I said, we got bad news and good news. So the first thing here, of course, is the bad news, which is that they are canceling the current game and restarting development on it, fully restarting from scratch, which means literally from the drawing board, literally back at point one, ground zero, they're starting again, and they're giving it to Retro Studios. And if you do not know Retro Studios, they're the people who made the original Metroid Prime games, and also a very esteemed studio with mostly, like, bangers, when I say by that, what I mean by that is, like, really good games under their, umbrella, so to say, and under their, cape, so to say. But basically, they've got a lot of good games on their arsenal. But this is kind of like proving something to us, and what it's proving is that Nintendo, and a point that they, one of the old people over at Nintendo, made, which is Shigeru Miyamoto, who said that a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. And this is, I think, never rung any truer. Honestly, this is probably the time where it's rung the most true. And it's very evident when you see it. So, what do I mean by that? Well, basically, this is why Nintendo is a company that I still stick by. Even though Nintendo makes mistakes, and they're trying to right those wrongs. For example, one of the biggest issues with Nintendo for a long time was their YouTube system, right? Program system, where basically YouTubers lost all their revenue because Nintendo was being weird. But they've moved away from that. They've moved away from such things, and now we've got a Nintendo that, is the Nintendo that I think we all love. The Nintendo that puts quality over everything else in their games. That puts good games over just random EA-type trash. You know what I mean? Like, this is what makes Nintendo into the company I think we all love. Sure, it's disappointing. We won't be getting a game that we've all been waiting for. A game that we haven't heard anything about since, 2017? A game that we haven't heard anything about, since the last, the E3 before the last one, in 2017. We haven't heard anything about it, seen no gameplay, no leaks, no nothing. It's just been silent on that front. And this could also mean that we won't see Metroid Prime for the next 4 years, maybe. It depends on how long it's going to take them to get development started and how long it's going to be, take them to make the game. But at the end of the day, I think the wait's going to be worth it, because a studio that now, a studio now that takes over it is a studio that might be able to actually give us a product that we will want. A product that's going to be hopefully perfect and great and just something awesome. And this proves one thing. They could have given us that bad version, as they like to call it in their video. They could have given us that, version they were working on. They could have sold that to us. Broken, messy, all those words. They could have given us that, and just still made their money, right? They could have taken the hype from the Metroid community, the people who love Metroid, the fact that Switch is doing amazing right now, and people want more Nintendo first-party titles. Pokemon's doing great. Smash is literally smashing through the top sales for highest grossing, highest grossing. What's the word? Like, basically IP for a specific console, or like exclusive, like highest grossing exclusive of all time. Basically, the point I'm trying to get across is that things are weird, okay? They could have easily shipped out a poor product and just been fine with it and just got away with it, and people wouldn't have batted an eye. But instead, they want to keep that quality, that thing that Nintendo is known for, that fact that they can make a product that everybody's going to love, a product that always going to top the charts and always have good ratings and always is going to be a product that you will feel like it was worth your money. They feel like, hey, we want to keep giving you that, and this is proven with Metroid Prime 4. Like I said, they could have easily done something just shitty and just given us the game that they were working on, which wasn't working out. They could have given us that, no matter how far in development it was. I mean, clearly it was bad development time for it. It wasn't going that well, but they didn't do it. Which makes me interested about this point here, A delayed game is eventually a good game, but a rushed game is a forever bad game. And that's the thing I've noticed with gaming in recent time. a lot of games we keep seeing, you know, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Battlefront, etc. You know, those games, like the really hyper big ones. Tons of other ones as well. Fallout 76, for example. All these games are coming out. People are, you know, playing them, you know, spending their money, but they don't get a product that had passion and love behind it, and also just didn't have that, like, oomph that you get from Nintendo. And this just makes me happy to be a fan of Nintendo. This just proves to me that any doubts I have about this company going a different path, they're all quenched. They're just destroyed. All those worries, all those thoughts are just destroyed the moment I see this. To me, this is good news. This is good news because this proves that Nintendo is a company that takes making good games over making a profit margin. They take game development seriously. They are still that Nintendo that we all grew up with. They're still that Nintendo that we all love. And that makes me happy. Like, I genuinely feel like inside, like, it's just kind of like tears me. In a good way, because it makes me happy. It makes me happy to see that gaming isn't going down the drain, that not everybody is like EA or Activision trying to quelch us for all our money or try to make money off of us on like millions of different microtransactions and stuff. They aren't doing that, sure. Nintendo's made mobile games, they've made microtransaction type games as well. But at the end of the day, they're one of the few companies that keep making single-player games that are always freaking amazing. Super Mario Odyssey, fantastic. Breath of the Wild, fantastic. Single-player games, by the way. You know, not loaded with a bunch of millions of microtransactions and all that. They still keep making good products. However I may feel about Let's Go, it was still a complete product. You know, it wasn't an incomplete product. You still got a product, you know, that was a full, complete thing. And it wasn't loaded with microtransactions. Sure, the Pokeball Plus was a little bit of an iffy point, but besides that, we still get full, finished products for them. So that makes me happy. That makes me very, very happy to see that Nintendo isn't going down a path of darkness. But this also opens up another door. We know that Pokemon's coming this year, and I do hope that with the new Pokemon game that's coming, that they've been given the same thought, you know what I mean, the same kind of attention to detail, because the problem with Pokemon has always been that Pokemon has always kind of been Nintendo's cash cow, the thing that kind of makes Nintendo a lot of moolah, you know what I mean, a lot of money, and it's kind of the thing that keeps their profit margins at a nice, steady pace, but of course, you know, that all depends on what's going on. But with all the news about, you know, Pokemon 2019, all the inside information from developers, from people that have been doing leaking and stuff, telling us, hey man, you know, or hey guys, you know, rather the leakers and stuff, you know, hey guys, you know, they're saying from the inside that they are really excited for Generation 8. 2019 is a big year. It's going to be a big year. The game is already pretty much finished at this point. So I'm just hoping that that same level of thought went into the next Pokemon game. I really do hope so, because this just, to me, again, it proves to me that Nintendo cares, and I think we all just need to applaud them for that. We need to thank them for being honest with us. This is what we need. Like, this is the problem. Like, I play World of Warcraft, and you might be like, I don't want to listen to this, but please just listen to me for a second. I play World of Warcraft. I played World of Warcraft for a long time now. And the problem with that game is that there is no honesty. There is no honesty from the people at the company. There is no honesty about where the game's going, or where the franchise is going, or where the company of Blizzard is going either. There's no honesty. There's no truth. There's just more scummy things happening over that company. And they're never seemingly going to make any proper changes to improve their situation or improve the situation of anything that's going on there. So that just, you know, to me proves that they don't care as much. They don't care about what they're making, and they don't care about giving us a good product. They just care about hitting a profit margin. Does that mean all the developers over there are like that? No, but the company part of it doesn't care, which then proves to me that some part of the Nintendo company does care about giving us a good product. Even if they are, you know, of course, business guys in business suits, you know, with their, you know, their portfolios of bags and whatnot, you know, with documents and shit and, you know, money, etc., all that being flip-flopped back and forth with investors and all this stuff. Sure, they've got all that, but they also have a soul. And that's what I think lacks from EA and from Activision. There is no soul whatsoever. There just isn't any soul. I used to condemn Nintendo for the things they did to people like myself, YouTubers. You may be like, oh, but there's nothing, you know, whatever. But you gotta understand, you know, we did our part of making content and loving Nintendo. Instead, we got, you know, kind of a little bit of not much back in return, rather than, Nintendo just being a little bit iffy about things. But Nintendo's changed about that. But they've still kept one thing about them that's always the same, and that's that they keep making good games, and they keep providing us with good products. And that's all that matters. But like I was saying with World of Warcraft, though, they just, with World of Warcraft, they don't want to admit their wrongs. They don't want to fix their wrongs. They don't want to, move ahead and make better things. Instead, they're just, like, set in their ways. They don't want to give us honesty. They just give us, mirages and just kind of hide things from us. And that's just disappointing, because they could do so much better, but they don't, which is just sad. So I just want to say thank you to Nintendo. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you for being Nintendo. Thank you for being a company that we all fell in love with. And thank you for bringing us great products at all times. You guys are fantastic. I'm sorry for ever doubting you. And hopefully, whenever we do see Metroid Prime 4, whether it be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, just take your time. Give Retro Studios the time to make a good game. A game that you will be proud of and that we will be proud of playing. And, so we can say that we're proud to be Nintendo fans. And proud to be fans of a company that at least gives us good games in return, and doesn't just skim us for money for quick microtransactions and season passes like some other companies EA tends to do, and Activision tends to do. Thank you for not doing that. Hopefully you won't go down that path anytime soon, or ever. Hopefully you'll always stay the good Nintendo that we all love. The Nintendo that cares about gamers first, and people who play their games first before they think about, how can we skim them for every penny they have? Because if you guys didn't see my video on Ruffled News the other day, I talked about how Activision were selling a smiley crosshair. Literally a smiley, like, reticle crosshair, whatever you call it, right? For £1.79, which is the dumbest thing ever. They're selling something that takes me 2 seconds to make in Photoshop for £1.79 in a game where you should be able to unlock such things for free, because you already paid tons for the base game itself, and then if you also buy the $60 plus or whatever season passes, you're paying even more, and you barely even get a full, like, you don't even get a full game, you get pieces of a game. But at least, Nintendo isn't doing that, and they could have, again, like I said, they could have just given us Metroid Prime 4, the thing they were working on already, the bad version that they saw. They could have given us that, but instead, they're doing, as Shigeru Miyamoto said, they're delaying a game, so that eventually could be a good game. Instead of rushing a game, so that game can forever be a bad game. The same way that, to me, stuff like Battlefield 5 is always going to be a bad game, because it was rushed, it's buggy, it's messy. But guess what? Breath of the Wild wasn't rushed. They took their time, they delayed it, all that stuff. And now it's one of the best games of all time. I mean, you may not like it, some of you guys, but still, that doesn't, doesn't defer from the fact that it's a pretty darn good game. Same thing with Super Mario Odyssey. They're pretty darn good games. And I hope that Generation 8 is going to be a good game as well. Pokemon in 2019 is looking great so far. We haven't seen much, but the feeling is feeling great. I feel like we're on a good path. So, yeah, that is about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. My name is RuffledRowlit. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.